And this was a gentleman, a military individual who went AWOL. And so I got contacted by David Bucher, who had written a book on it several years ago. But he said, Dave, I got a copy of the APRO form that was done on it from 1959. But the thing I'm really looking for is on the report, it says C tape. I'm really hoping there's an audio tape somewhere.
Huh?
I said, well, we got 13 file cabinets of APRO files and materials, 50 boxes of material, and included in that are roughly 200 reel-to-reel recordings going back to the mid-1950s and cassette recordings. He flew from Wisconsin with the express purpose to look for that tape. And I'm happy to tell you and your audience, Martin, he went into the room and I said, look, we've not even had a chance to organize those tapes, so don't worry about putting them back in any certain order, David. I said, but there they are, have at it. I'm in the other room doing some digitization work, and suddenly I hear, Dave. He comes running in, and he had a reel-to-reel from 1959, and it had Jerry Irwin written on the outside. And long story short, we queued it up on one of the mini reel-to-reel players that we have that are hooked up for digitization. And he and I sat there and listened to this interview with Jerry Irwin from, I believe, October, November 1959. Jim and Coral Lorenzen are interviewing him in their living room in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Amazing.
And the takeaway was we digitized it, digitally remastered it, threw it on a thumb drive. He went home. He wrote me about 2 or 3 days later. He said, David, there is so much new material. I'm going to have to do a complete revision of my book now. And he was kind enough to do a transcript of the interview, which we then now put into the 1959 case file, which we didn't have.
Oh, that's nice to have that. So Katie Paige is kind of saying hi here. Hey, Katie. And she's basically saying that that it blew open the Snippy case.
Well, we didn't. Katie and Tony Angiula did the work, but we were facilitators and at least getting them in touch. Katie had the pleasure, and I'm sure she would use that word if she was speaking right now, had the pleasure of literally going through the original Snippy case file that APRO did. And as I mentioned to Katie, and as I alluded to earlier, these files have been locked away for 35 years. She was the first person with the express intent of getting into the Snippy file and reviewing that material. And I think I speak for her, Tony, as well as myself. There were goosebump moments when we were listening to some of these reel-to-reel actual interviews from the time period, when we're looking at sketches and drawings of I like to call it the crime scene, and photographs, tons of photographs from the original investigation. And Tony and Katie did the lion's share work of taking all that material and synthesizing it. And truly for the first time, and I was honored, I got a chance to write the foreword to the book, and I meant this sincerely. For the first time in history, we have this coherent, accurate retelling of the Snippy case with all of the original documentation to back it up.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, I had her on recently and we talked about all that, and that was amazing. I saw the pictures.
But my hat is off to Katie and to Tony, because these are people that took the time and spent their own dime to come to Albuquerque and literally doing the work. People talk about research, and quite often when you start talking to these people, they're talking about surfing the internet. Katie and Tony were wading through all of these documents, all of these papers, and trying to make sense, because these files got mixed up over the years. But they were able to take those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle and put them together. And the book that they've written is, I said it in the foreword, it is the definitive book on this case.
Very, very good. Now, as far as books, someone's asking here, are you accepting books? It would really depend, wouldn't it?
It does. And thank you for asking, Rick. We get a lot of requests to donate books. I will tell you, we're interested, but unfortunately, we have to be judicious. In other words, if we can get an inventory or people can snap pictures of the books on the shelf where we can look at the titles. The only reason I say this, Martin, is I'm sure you and your audience can appreciate, we've acquired a lot of collections. A lot of those collections had the same books. And we have a huge offsite storage warehouse where we have upwards of 200 bankers boxes of nothing but duplicate books.
Oh my God.
And for anybody that would like to build their UFO library, if you want to come out and go through all those duplicate books, you're welcome to them.
Wow, isn't that nice?
But we've acquired.
You may have some You may have some takers on that.
Well, we have upwards of 10 to 20 copies of some of these old rare books, but we just don't have the time to photograph, write descriptions, put them on eBay, sell them. We just simply don't have the time. So right now they're in deep storage.
Wow. Hey, someone was just bringing up AI here.
Yes.
And how could AI help you in any type of way? Have you looked at an angle?
We haven't explored it yet. This last year literally has been getting all of the files, the archives organized, helping Katie and Tony and other researchers like David Marler doing tours. It's just been, we've been drinking water out of a fire hose this last year. But I think that the short answer is, and I've said this several times recently in interviews, I feel that we're at a critical juncture in time, Martin, where we have decades worth of work on the part of these organizations and individuals that have collected the data, documented it, preserved these case files. And when you think about it, the CUFOS files resided in Chicago most of their life. The NICAP files were in Washington, D.C., later Baltimore, or in the Maryland area. We had the APRO files that were in New Mexico and then later Tucson. So all of these collections derive from different parts of the country. They're now brought together in one location, but for decades they languished in these file cabinets. What I propose is, now that we have them all together, now that we have secured workspace, once we can get adequate funding, we will digitize all those. Once they're digitized, we can manipulate and analyze and really start looking for correlations using these AI tools. And what I like to say is, maybe we're at a unique moment in time where historical preservation meets AI technology. And truly, for the first time, we might be able to discern trends, patterns, and correlations in all of this data for the first time in history.
Wow, amazing. Well, I can't believe it. We're at the end of the show already.
Wow.
So I know that went so fast. Seems to always go fast, and I'll have to have you back, again, not wait so long this time. But yeah, it's always a pleasure, David.
Yeah,
yes.
and on Saturday the 18th, we're going to have a community open house. If anybody's in the Albuquerque area, they'd love to come attend our open house, 9 to 5 on Saturday, October 18th.
Sounds great. Take care now.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, everyone. So I will be back this Thursday night at 8 p.m. with Joshua Bertrand. I may not do these Thursdays. It's a lot of work doing 2 shows a week. I may not be so consistent with the Thursday show. You'll always see me here Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Thanks so much, everyone. And remember to keep your eyes to the sky.